going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Second Guessing with Stressing. I'm your host, Garrett Williams, aka Texans commenter. And yeah, man, we finally got a win. It's been a good week. The Texans took care of business. Obviously, it was against probably one of, if not the worst team in the league in the Tennessee Titans. But that being said, when you're supposed to beat a bad team and take care of business and you do it, it's a good thing. So, we can definitely dive into that, as well as I know in the past I've been saying that I planned on, doing two shows a week, which I haven't been able to do. One doing a recap of the previous week and a preview of the upcoming week, but I'll try and just mash them both in today in case I can't, do another show. But thank y'all for tuning in. If you're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or X, I guess, Facebook, TikTok, I'm not live. But as always, follow me on all the platforms at Texans Commenter or at Houston Stressans on pretty much all of those. And then, of course, my website, www.houstonstressans.com. Be sure to subscribe to my free newsletter. I'm working the kinks out. I guess, I've been sending things out the wrong day when I schedule them. But I've been writing articles, previews, and recaps as well in there that are more like analytical, not just play-by-play box score type stuff. So, and of course, too, if you're watching now or if you're listening later or want to re-listen later, I upload to Spotify and Apple as well. So, shout out King Colby. He says, "You blessing or stressing, my boy?" I'm blessing, man. I'm big blessing. I'll get into it, but you're having to be careful of not getting too high. But things are definitely better than what they were a week ago. That's for sure. Shout out HDAV Traveler. Evening, everyone. He says it was the Titans, but it's a building block. Facts. Yeah. So it's like the saying we talk about. It's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. Reality is what lies in between. Most of the time, we apply that to when on the bad side. But it's the same on the good side. So, I'm pretty good at the bad side when things are bad, not, thinking it's as bad as what most people think and realizing it's better than that. But I am guilty when things appear good. I kind of overly become optimistic. But, I feel like I've tempered that with the Titans win. But yeah, so it was a 0-3 versus 0-3. It was a must-win game for both teams. But for us, we're a team coming in with expectations. Having made the playoffs the past 2 years under DeMeco Ryans' first 2 years and won a playoff game in both those years, and no one really had us starting 0-3. So if they would have lost that game, people would have been fired. Whether it was Casario, Kaylee, or position coaches, some jobs were on the line. So. But yeah, I was at the game, and I think a lot of us had the same feelings and sentiments because we watched the first three games, defense dominating, and then offense just, can't get out of their own way. Anytime they get any kind of minor momentum, they would just shoot them selves in their foots, things like that. So, and it looked like it was the same thing for really the first three quarters. I'd say first 2.5, but obviously we scored 6 points in the first half. They missed 2 field goals with Joey Sly, and I think I'm not sure if at least on one maybe it might have been affected by the rush or the pressure, but it was 6-0, could have been 6-6, and then it wasn't until the fourth quarter, I believe, that the first red zone trip happened by us. And then it kind of broke free. So, we do have to remember that it was a slow start, but, we finally saw some glimpses and flashes, whether it's a terrible team or not, of a competent offense and what this recipe for this team could look like. So, there's definitely some good stuff to take away. We'll continue to dive in. Let me check on some comments. Alex Roman, are you hosting any watch parties this year? I need to, man. There's so much stuff with all this, and as y'all can tell, I try to do too much. Just the content alone, I could literally be posting every second of the day, creating and making content. I need to be better at finding and honing in on the important stuff, or delegating. I've had I don't even call it an intern. Someone helped me before, and I haven't really leaned into that. But it would be nice, to make it a better product for everyone else, to kind of maybe have some people help me with smaller things, yeah, just so I can be more efficient. But the watch party, hosted a couple last year and enjoyed those. So that would be dope. I think that I would like to do that. I want to live stream a game too. I haven't really gotten around to doing that. I really enjoy writing the articles. That takes up a lot of time. I enjoy going on other shows, which I haven't really done. I enjoy having guests, which I haven't done since the season started per se. But yeah, the content's crazy, like posting videos, and like King Colby says, the Kendrick Perkins clip you posted on Facebook was a wild take. Yeah, we can play that. That was wild. I heard it on 610. They were playing it, and I went and found it. It was on Lil Kiki's podcast, and yeah, Perkins was talking wild. And I'm glad the reaction from fans was the same that I had. I thought he was talking crazy, basically saying CJ Stroud isn't the one. Shout out CB Swift on YouTube. And then, yeah, amidst all that, I'm still working on getting the super chat. So I'll get there eventually. There's a lot of like little things I can do with everything I got to like make it all more streamlined, but I'm just so busy posting content or other, actual work stuff or family stuff that it's hard to do it all. So Don Marco on IG says, do you think Joe Mixon was a big part of Kaylee offense? I mean, no, he shouldn't. I don't think he came here to be evolved around one player. I think Mixon would certainly help, but I mean, I don't think it was, the focal point. Shout out Larry Payton. He says, good evening. First 3 weeks of New England offensive scheme had you sounding like me. Are we swarming again? Yeah, I mean, who couldn't, I mean, I wasn't fully out. I know a lot of fans were fully out and wanting to fire Nick. And obviously I was, drinking the Kool-Aid leading up to it. And I still do believe in him and the system. And for me, it's frustrating because you listen to his press conferences and he says all the right things. Like he says it, and I feel like he's doing it. So yeah, I'm definitely swarming again. I was never not swarming. It was just on a much lower level. But again, with that being said, we still have to take into perspective that yes, this was against the Titans, but there was a lot of good stuff I saw, which I can definitely. I'll touch on that topic next after I hit these next few comments. Shout out Grapha O. Appreciate your support, brother. Ethan Weber says, what's up, Stressans? Does Jeffrey Simmons on the Titans have an out in his contract anytime soon? It looked like DeMeco was giving him a lot of love and praise after the game and is mic'd up. Yeah, I posted that clip because I thought that was pretty interesting. And we've always needed a dominant, D tackle. And you could tell that DeMeco admires and respects him. But I looked at his deal. I think he signed a extension recently, so it would have to be a trade, and his cap hit's pretty high. So I don't know how we would be able to swing that. But you can dream or imagine. Brandon says, I could see Simmons going somewhere by the deadline. Definitely doesn't want to stay stuck on the Titans roster forever. Facts. Brandon says Arizona Cardinals trade for Dameon Pierce. Hey, I didn't even think about that. Man, yeah. So this is what I was thinking last year with Pierce is like trade him, but it probably made more sense to wait until the season started because teams get desperate. They get injuries. I mean, you see teams having 2 and 3 running backs get hurt. All of a sudden that guy that you might have cut that, or yielded a 7th might get you a 6th. So yeah, it's a good call. And then Aguilar says, how are you looking for the Ravens? LFG. Yeah, I'll get into it, but I'm optimistic. Obviously they're decimated. Alex says you should make a Discord chat or some type of group where everyone who wants to can join. We can all pitch in on watch parties. Yeah, so I've wanted to do a Discord. I have it on my site if you want to join, but I haven't really been active on there. And I've had my buddy who helped with my site, who does an awesome job working on an app version of the site. And I've been waiting for that to kick off first and then maybe making a Discord, because what I have now is like a forum, but I call it a Discord. But like an actual Discord, people seem to love Discord and like embed that into the app. Like I feel like the app would be just like a mobile version of my site that's friendly and just have everything in there. Like I aggregate all the YouTube videos from everything that's around Texans, interviews, national pundits talking about them, highlights, whatever. You can find it there. My articles, if people want to write their own articles, they can post them in there, have a chat, like a Discord, have a store, and have it to where you have a directory, which I already have my site. Every content creator, you can see all their pages and have their own sites or profiles or pages and instantly just click on their thing and look at their content. Like basically what I do with content, aggregating it, just everything into one. I'm going to try to get that rolling soon. So HD Traveler, I have a few friends that are YouTube creators. It takes up a lot of time to create content. Yeah, man. Um, and I love the analysis, but I also love, like the videos. And, I kind of, it depends on like the content I post. Like some stuff, like I try to refrain, like if it's like the Perkins video, putting too much analysis on the initial one because I want to allow people to engage and chime in and have the engagement interaction and like fill in my opinion or analysis in the comments or this is what this is for. I mean, um, I feel like this is a better forum for me to give my opinion on things here. So Dime says Perkins just says wild shit for views and clicks. Yeah, it makes you think, bro. Texans swarm. Will Horton be inactive or he will just go 10 active D lineman if Entree's ready to go? If Autry's ready, I would think a D lineman would have to go down, and I would think that would be Horton. So yeah. And then King Colby, bro, you're doing a great job. Go your own speed. Content creating is super time consuming and work. Facts, yeah, man. And I have a personality to where I'm just obsessive, and I got to learn to put limits on myself, man. I run myself on the ground sometimes. Larry says, question the 4Q success Texans versus Titans. Do you think Nick Caley game plan worked? Yeah, so on that, everything's like easier in hindsight for everybody, fans, whoever, but like the coaches, like, you know, it worked out that way, and then that's them saying like that's our formula, like that's our formula is to wear them down, wear them down, wear them down, and then all of a sudden the dam breaks, which is what happened. But like I don't know if that's gonna how it always happens, but I mean it's clear like we've came on here and I've wanted like with the injuries that we've had with Jakob Johnson, Cade Stover, all these tight ends getting hurt, and not having a lot of fullback tight ends, and then just from the nature of the offense, like we've watched, like trying to run the ball so much and not doing a great job. I mean, the run game's been better than we've thought. It's just not converting third downs, but we've seen like everything we talked about, like spreads more conducive to pretty much everybody and tempo and spacing and stuff like that. But I was hoping they would do more of that. Didn't really see. I feel like there was some more tempo and maybe a little more spacing, but I mean, they kind of stuck with what they've been doing as far as really trying to establish the run. And I shared a clip from DeMeco's mic'd up where he was talking to Cole Popovich and he was saying like, run the ball, run the ball. And I don't know if he's like saying that, like, that's my, like, I'm trying to tell you to do it. Or like, my guess is like, maybe that's Cole Popovich, your typical O line coach. And he's like, kind of like joking, like, like you like to run the ball. You're always saying it type of thing. But it's evident that's what they want to do. And DeMeco in his presser today or on Monday said, we're going to need to establish the run again, which you do. But yeah, so I don't know if that's exactly, I guess that's what they wanted to do. And that was their plan and it worked out. I mean, but also the Titans run D is terrible. So it worked out. And so if they are a game plan offense, it should change week to week. And so if we come across a defense with a terrible run D, perfect. Like it fits what we want to do. And I feel like that's what happened with the Titans, but you could see, and it wasn't even the fourth, like it was probably like mid to late third. It just that drive carried over into the fourth. Late in the game, it felt like every run was going for 6+ yards. Like, Chubb was having good runs, and I really like the mix. We have a pretty good diversity in the skill sets between Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. I know we want Nick Chubb to be this fast, explosive guy, but he provides value with the game that he has, a tough physical runner between the tackles. But then now Woody Marks is the perfect complement. Now you have two different styles. And I made a joke about this, but I feel like there is some advantage / truth to this. Their numbers being similar and looking similar in those jerseys, 21 and 27, and their stature, they're really not far off. And they honestly look like each other. I know their stances are different, but now if you have one guy who's more of the power in between the tackles guy and another guy who can do that, but also can be, more wide zone, mid zone, but also passing game. If you start to do tempo and then now they can't really think. And I mean, that's a minor thing, but definitely I think that was their plan and they're saying that's what it was and it worked. The Ravens, their defense is just terrible all around, run defense as well. So they're going to want to do that. And it fits with what DeMeco wants to do. It still is a top-down approach, in my opinion, from DeMeco, defensive-minded head coach, wanting to be conservative. And, the things he's preached about the offense and why they've sucked, I mean, obviously third down, and then turning the ball over, uh, and then running the ball. Like they're all boring things, and it won't, make an exciting game where it's a shootout, and it won't make an exciting game where our offense puts up 40 plus points. But I mean, all those points, the two touchdowns came in the fourth, but like that was a dominant win by the end of the game, and it did add up. So yeah, and I hate, we've talked about it too, like the mindset of like every game's close, like, and DeMeco started to change or elaborate on what he's saying. Like, he's saying he's not saying he wants every game to be close, but there are games that are close. You still got to find a way to win them. But yes, it seems like the mindset is starting to shift, and it should shift to where we should try to dominate teams. I mean, for the first time, and I think the biggest part of what we're talking about, which Larry brought up, is it's complementary football. Like we saw in the first three games, the offense, especially in the Tampa game, just put the defense in a shitty spot, like a terrible spot. Like the Tampa game, it was like what 70, 80 plays for Tampa to like our 40. It was like almost 2-1. So our defense was on the field all game. Our defense was balling besides like the first drive and like, batting down the hatches. But they're on the field constantly because of three and out by the offense. And eventually late in the game, when you need to make a stop, they're gassed. And that made a difference. So now on the flip side, in this Titans game, we were on the other side of it and we saw what it did. So on the other side of it now, if our offense can have methodical drives, ball control, run the ball, not flashy, 5, 6, 7 yard runs, quick short game. And part of it is that's our offense by design, which CJ Stroud has said is a death by 1,000 cuts. And part of it is also, like he said, it's the way teams are playing us in these shell coverages with the two high safeties, which is what a lot of defenses are doing. Especially to quarterbacks who have shown that they can beat you deep. Like if you have a rookie quarterback, initially you can start running, blitzes and man looks and force them to beat you over the top. And if they never do, you can keep doing that. But if someone like CJ, who showed that early on his rookie year, now they test you with the patience. And it's happened to pretty much all these quarterbacks, and they've gone through it. Like I thought the sophomore slump thing was kind of overblown, but that's probably the biggest factor for it is they treat you like a legit quarterback. And now they make you have discipline, I think, is the biggest thing. And that's somewhere that CJ has needed to improve and has, but still has plenty of room in the sense that don't go for the home run. Take what's there. It's boring. I get it. Like you're a playmaker. You want to that you can make big plays and you have, but you really it makes you, it's like when you play someone in Madden that plays like that plays real conservative and you're playing a video game and you just want to play home runs. And, if you play someone who's really good in Madden, they will do that to you too. And then if you just get bored and take a shot, it's like an automatic pick. And it's kind of like the NFL against a good QB. So you have to really be patient and really beat a team to death on the underneath stuff until they get tired of it, and then pick your spots when you do go deep. And that's what they talked about too. Once you do that enough and then you finally get that op. And then once you hit that big play, now it just opens it up and the defense is kind of scrambling, trying to guess when to do which philosophy. And that's kind of what happened when we finally hit the Nico Collins 2nd and 33. So that's another topic for me is a shift in mindset. I've seen a lot of positive things from DeMeco and his, the way he sees things this year and the actions that he's had. Like I know it was 0-3 and 1-3, but considering that, I'm still very optimistic, forward thinking, and I've still seen a lot of good, believe it or not, with DeMeco and this team. The things that he's done, but the Nico Collins play, the mindset before this game, we're 0-3. The offense sucks because they can't convert on third down. And you deduct the reasoning down, and they say, "Oh, we can't convert on third down because of early downs, because third downs and second downs are always second and third and long." Okay, yes, that's true. It's hard to convert anytime, especially constantly on second and third and long. But it was also becoming an excuse, and of course you had penalties and sacks, but of course you want to try and prevent those as much as you can, but you're going to face them. I was hearing this, and then I'd watch other games. You watch the Bills or whoever or the Ravens, and they too get in second and third and longs. Maybe not as much, obviously, but they would actually convert them. Like, you have to be able to convert them. And so hitting that play to Nico changed everything for us. Like, the offense, like we had talked about, especially in that Jags game, like it came to like a boiling point. They were just in a mental block. Like, it's like collectively, like the collective psyche and psychology of the offense was like they just didn't have any confidence. And like it's like this had like this doom mindset. Like, anytime they like got momentum or started doing good, it's like you could tell like collectively they were like, man, like something's gonna happen bad soon. And like they almost like willed it into existence in a sense, is what it felt like. But now it kind of was continuing that way. But until that moment, like that might have been the play that just changes the whole season for the offense. Like, once we saw that play, it's like, oh shit, like we can mess up and have penalties, whether they're legit penalties or not, and overcome them. Like, oh my gosh, like whoa. And then from there it was like floodgates open. And DeMeco acknowledged that. He called that play to Nico the biggest play of the game, and for the reasoning I said. And then he came out and said what I'm saying and had been saying, like, no, you can't just blame it all on second and long and third and long. You need to convert those here and there. It's not a carte blanche excuse. And he came out and said that. He's like, you need to be willing, you need to be able to overcome adversity if it's a second and long. And like, so it changed his mindset. But now, like, they all have this confidence. And now that you've done it, you know what you can do. So that, as like the collective psyche of like the negative, like that cloud has to be gone now in that sense. Like, oh, we can overcome this stuff, instead of like, oh no, here we go again. It's second and 33 or it's second and 20, drives over. Like, no, like we can get chunk plays. And it happened again with Woody Marks on 3rd and 13 or something. And, again, back to the mic'd up. If y'all haven't watched it on the Texans YouTube with DeMeco, it's awesome. It's incredible. On that mic'd up with DeMeco, they're talking about the play on 3rd and 13, which I think Woody Marks, we'll get to that right after this, like the emergence of him. We've all known it and asked for it, and we're not surprised. But anyways, the 3rd and 13 screen, all the plays that he had, I think that might have been one of the best, besides the 2 touchdowns and the great pass pro reps. That, again, like the Nico play, showed we can convert something. And it's also for CJ, like, you realize you have this outlet. Like, we talked about being disciplined and checking it down. He probably normally on 3rd and 13, screen pass or not, like, would try and force it. But now he's like, you know what? Like, I have this guy where I can take the smart conservative play and he can make it right. But yeah, that screen pass by Woody, we haven't really seen any good effective halfback screen game, uh, hardly at all with the Texans. We had one decent Chubb one against the Bucks, I believe, but even then, like, it could have been better if it was Woody. But hey, we'll take it. And I did see some like in the Jags, it would look bad with Chubb in there. And that's kind of why we all wanted Woody to be in there, because of that extra elusiveness. And the guy freaking caught 80 plus passes at Mississippi State. Like, but like the big thing for him on those plays and also some run plays is his patience. He's not running out in front of blockers. He let those linemen. So now all of a sudden the linemen look like they're blocking amazingly in the screen game, but it's just the runner. Like, yes, there are some screen plays where they block bad, but like Woody makes them right. Like, he waited and let them get their blocks. And then now, as the blocker, you let the defender declare, like, hey, I'm coming after you, and you go left or right, in or out. I'm going to take you where you are and wash you. And then now Woody can kind of play off that, and he waits to see what you do, and then he reacts, instead of the other way around, like you trying to block for a guy and like seeing where he wants to go. So, but it was funny though. DeMeco was talking to Frank Ross in that situation, and they were in long field goal range, but they were up multiple scores. So DeMeco was like, hey, what do you think, Frank? Like, field goal here? And Frank's like, yeah, but we're up 2 scores. It's a long field goal, probably punt. And DeMeco's like, okay, punt. And then the ball snapped, and then Woody starts running, like, all right, field goal. And they're like, yeah, field goal. And they're like, all right, first down. So like that too, like just, further compounded on that change in mindset that they got from the big Nico play now with Woody Marks. And then of course the very next play, a run play off the tackle out to the left side, gets to the first level, and then just makes a guy miss on the second level with an insane cut. And it was special, again, watching DeMeco on the mic'd up. It really hit home to him in that moment. It's cool to see like his live reaction to it in real time. So you get like the authentic, his view or opinion of the player. But he was like, he was in awe, like we were. He's like, wow, what a move, wow. And then he said, DB, which is I want to say Derek Barnett. I don't know why I'm blanking on the running backs coach's name right now, but that's DB is the running backs coach's name. And he said, "Hey, we got your back." Like basically, like this is the guy. Like so they figured out like, and and we get frustrated that they didn't play him early on because we saw all this stuff, but like beggars can't be choosers. Let's be happy it happened now. Yes, maybe if they played him sooner, maybe we would have won some more games. Maybe he wasn't quite ready yet. But this is the most opportunity he got, and he maximized the crap out of it. And so it sounds like they'll kind of lean in on that more. That's something where DeMeco has grown. Like he's been very proactive on these moves, but before he seemed like he was resistant. I think he learned his lesson the first couple of years. He, you know, obviously if you're the head coach and you're a defensive head coach and you're the DC and the play caller, you probably want to be able to just make a really good hire on offense and delegate everything to them. You want them to be able to make the personnel decisions, play calls, game plan, everything. You want to be able to trust them so you can focus on yours. But hey, first 2 years, no, that wasn't the case. Maybe there's part of he spent enough time on the defense and trained his staff underneath him to get them to do what he wants to do. And then, the big part of the game too was DeMeco. It came out after the fact, as reported by Jonathan Alexander from the Chronicle. Shout out Jonathan. That DeMeco delegated play calling on the defensive side of the ball to Matt Burke, and basically he was able to manage the whole team more. But I can't help but think it was because he wanted to put his hands on the offense more. Like my opinion is he saw what happened late last year, kept giving Bobby chance after chance after chance, and like the guy just couldn't figure it out, wouldn't adapt, wouldn't adjust. And eventually, late in the year, you could see he seemed like he was more involved, and the offense started to see get better. They ran more gap scheme. They did stuff that fit their personnel. Playing guys that should be playing, stuff like that. But DeMeco is showing an extreme sense of urgency. That's the word here. He realizes that time is precious, especially now that we're 0-3. But I think even before that, he was already feeling urgently about, he just learned his lesson that he can't be as hands off. Like he can't just, even though he made these hires, and who knows, maybe he was influenced by this hire of Nick Caley by Nick Caserio, or didn't have as much say. Maybe we don't know. Or maybe he just genuinely got duped, or maybe Nick Caley's fine. But regardless, he's realized I still need to intervene, which I love. Like that's how I would be. Like if my name is on the line, it's like doing a class project and you give this person some BS assignment and they can't get it done, then screw it. Just go help or do it. It sucks. It is what it is. But end of the day, if it helps out, the bigger picture, then it's worth it. So when you watch that mic'd up now with the lens of, hey, this is DeMeco Ryans as a hands-free overall team manager, like it was special, man. All of his mic'd ups are great. Obviously, when we win, his energy, obviously, he's very upbeat, very positive, connects with everybody, always positive talking. But my observations from watching it through that lens of like, okay, this is DeMeco's first time not having to call plays. And he said in several interviews since then or pressers since then that, he's still involved, but he's not having to like fully focus. So there's a balance there. And you trust Matt Burke, first game doing it, had a freaking shutout. Again, Titans terrible, but come on, dude, not a bad debut. But back to the mic'd up, you look at it through that lens of DeMeco being a manager of the team, him being involved in the offense, doing things like I say, hey, 4th and short, quarterback sneak the ball. Like that game against the Bucks, we're on here saying like 2nd and goal from the 1, QB sneak it 3 times, bro. Instead we're doing double moves and sprint left. And so they went for it on 4th down early in the game and got on a run play, but then there was another one where they quarterback sneak it. They had 2 quarterback sneaks for first downs on 4th or 3rd and a yard. And on the mic'd up, he's on there saying like, he told them, hey, sneak it, quarterback sneak it. Like if you can't get a yard here, then what are we doing? And then he basically said like what we said, like, yeah, sneak it every time. Yes. Thank you. Like, so that to me is critical. Like that is a small thing in an area that we have needed to improve. Like to us, it was obvious maybe as fans, but for some reason they didn't utilize it. And now they're like, hey, oh shit. And maybe all it took was just DeMeco being more involved and like, I'm going to give you my general observation that's pretty obvious. So I noticed that. I noticed on the sidelines too, like now when the defense is out there, and he probably still did this before, but he's out there alerting them to all kind of stuff. He's like, hey, watch the double move, watch the double move, watch the screen, watch the run, watch the pass. Like he's calling stuff out. Like he's a smart guy. So rather than worrying about the play and the next play, he can lock in on situation and awareness. And then even back on offense on the other side, late in the game, he's saying, hey, reminder to go down, stay in bounds. Like that stuff matters. And that's an area where we've lacked the situational awareness. Like I've talked about on here, I've written my articles, I've blasted them on social media for situational awareness. Even the first 3 games of this year, the Rams game, 3rd and 8, us coming out and, playing the run when it was an obvious pass situation and they get the first down with the pass. And then the inverse against Tampa, the 2nd and 2 from the 2 with 12 seconds, obvious run situation and playing the pass. And, maybe now Burke is the DC and they can like collaborate and figure it out. Maybe now that DeMeco has stepped off, he can figure that out. But not even just that, but like time management. Like it's been terrible over the years. There's been a lot of blunders as far as managing the clock and timeouts. But who knows? Maybe that's an area that can improve. It needs to improve, but maybe now that can also improve with reining back the duties there. So that was huge. And then just to continue to put a bow on DeMeco and his growth overall as a coach. I mean, like I mentioned, the urgency, the wherewithal to put his ego aside and delegate play calling and put trust in Matt Burke, the guys that he has, and then be rewarded by it. That has to be very satisfying. I'm sure, like if I was me, like I have a hard time delegating, as I said to begin the show. It's a big decision to make, like, and I'm sure he's worried, like, crap, like I did this. What if Matt Burke now goes out and lays an egg? I look like an idiot. But like that just reinforced his decision. It could not have gone any better. It could not have gone any better. The guy pitched a shutout. Again, Titans suck. Like Cam Ward said, we ass. Cam Ward, incarnate word. But still, I mean, there's still a lot of value to that. So, but the personnel decisions, and in his weekly interviews, if you don't watch him on the Texans YouTube with Mark Vandermeer and John Harris, he's been pretty open. Like he will convey to them and to us what he plans on doing. And it's like the common sense stuff we see. Like a lot of it's the rookies, like playing rookies. Like, again, I have to rehash every week, but he makes strides each week. First one was after week 1, like, why is Damian Pierce out there? He messed up on kick return and his terrible and pass pro and running. Boom. He said we need more Chubb. Pierce is out. Next week it's Dare. He comes in and blows the game. I guess he had already blown the game, and the next week he did bad in pass pro against Tampa, and he's like, Chubb needs more third down. And then we say, oh, we need Woody, and he basically gets Woody in there more. Same thing happened with Juice Scruggs over Laken Tomlinson. Laken Tomlinson's been struggling at left guard. That's a spot where it felt like he might have waited for a while initially, but now he put in Juice, most of the game prior and a lot of this game, and it paid off. So Jaden Higgins, we're like, hey, he needs to get more involved. We were saying it. He's a great vertical threat against Jacksonville. Like he's open, like, not only play him, but make plays to throw him the ball. Jaden Higgins, that gets going. I mean, now it's just, for me, the last one is Christian Kirk has been underwhelming. I want to see more Jalen Noel. But, it's just Tommy Togiai. He's a guy that, journeyman, bounced around, earned his way up, and he's been one of our best defensive linemen. Play him more. He's been doing it. And so, EJ Speed, that's another one. And I've been on that since the jump. Like y'all know me on here, like when the signing happened, a lot of people scoffed at it. Oh, a special teamer. I'm like, no, bro. Like this guy was a starter for 2 years, highly productive in tackles. And, the contract, the value was low. And yes, there's a lot of, there was an incentive for like, stats or games played, but those are unlikely to be earned incentives that are pretty common. But to me, it was the Pro Bowl escalator also was worth noting. Like that doesn't happen to every contract. So for a player to like have that and agree to it, that must mean they know there's a chance that they can earn it. But I mean, Henry To'oTo'o is still decent, but had been struggling tackling, done some good here and there. But now EJ Speed, been balling out in special teams. Henry struggling. He gets a little bit of reps. Okay, we'll give him more this game. Balls the hell out. And then this week on the show with Mark Vandermeer says EJ Speed needs to play more. So we'll see. That's the conveyance. We'll see more of that. And then he says that Woody basically needs to play more. So we'll see more of that. This is all great stuff. And he says Tommy needs to play more. So we need to see more of that. Like, and this is stuff as fans, like we watch the game, we see it. And, it's just great to see. Sorry, I'm missing the comments here. Just kind of while I'm just trying to, get it all out while I got it, these thoughts on the game. So, and then another observation from the game, and I already started an article for this too. So if you like that form of it as well, I'll kind of like support it with clips and film. But another good takeaway was the growth of the offense from the sense that, it sucks that we started 0-3. Like, defense is elite and we're losing these games. So it puts all the pressure on these rookies that aren't playing. It puts pressure on the process that Nick Caserio took to address the offense, kind of seemingly skirting around the O-line. But, it puts pressure on Nick Caley, first-time play caller, implementing a new system. It puts pressure on Stroud, learning a new system. And yes, I've raved about, he's a smart quarterback and has a lot of control. But yeah, so, has a lot of, he's in like high school and college, had command of the offense and was able to, do well in doing that. So I figured he would just hit the ground running, like, okay, give him the keys. But like, it's apparent that one, he hasn't done it in the NFL yet and has to get used to that role again. And it's different against better defenses and different fronts and this and that. But also, like, I'm getting the sense from watching the interview today from CJ that, like, I don't think they gave him the keys right away. Like, we just assumed they're going to do it. But, like, it could be a little bit of the same of the Slowick stuff, where what we felt and heard and saw was that he was holding him back. And, like, it's this young quarterback. Yes, he's a franchise quarterback, but I don't think he's allowed to just run the organization like we think. Like, I don't think he's allowed to go in there and be like, no, that sucks, coach. I don't want to do that. Like, and he's not that kind of guy. Like, he's like a, respectful guy. I see your way. I'll try and do it. But I suspect Kaylee didn't give him full autonomy because he didn't trust it. And maybe part of it is he maybe wasn't ready, but I see it really, really, really turning a page. And so there were several instances, where they talked about impressors, like in the run game, he can ID the mic. And then now, based off of the front, he can change from a pass to a run. And it seemed like he did that several times. But the big one we all know was Jaden Higgins' first touchdown. I believe it was a run play. They're down in the red zone. He audibles the play, we find out after the game, from DeMeco. And then CJ also talks about it, to a slot fade to Jaden Higgins. Brilliant call. Like, you got a big 6'4" receiver in the slot, call to where the outside guy runs a hitch, and then now allow Jaden to have all this room to work. And he just destroys the DB off the line. It's a freaking one of the easiest touchdown passes of his career. And then also, so yeah, he's showing that he's improving there. Maybe he's getting the chance to do it. And now he does. And like, imagine that too. Like, not only is he finally given the ability to do it, we're assuming, but he does it, and then it works into a touchdown. But then also the layer of, you call it to a play to a rookie that you seemingly so far, whether it's you or the offense or the coordinator, hasn't really trusted that much. Like, there's been times where, like, I feel like they could have been hitting Jaden Higgins a lot, but like that rapport is not there. But like, you do that, you give him a chance, he comes through. It's like, okay, now CJ knows, all right, like, this guy is legit. Like, he's going to, make the right check when I check it. He's going to beat his guy. He'll be in the right spot. So that is very encouraging, like twofold in that one example there. But yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of work in progress. I'm optimistic. Again, it's the Titans, but I think there's a lot out there to be optimistic with the offense, and those things do take time, and so only time will tell. And then, lucky for us, we're playing a Ravens defense who is not good. They're freaking terrible. Like, we'll look at the stats, but like, I think they're like worse in the league in yards and points per game potentially. Run and pass, they're both bad. So, I mean, this could be another great game for us to continue to build momentum on offense to kind of keep finding our rhythm. So I'm definitely optimistic in that regard. There was a lot of good takeaways. I think that's most of it. I'm gonna grab a water because I am parched for talking for 40 minutes straight. I feel like I've been talking for 4 minutes. That's how much I love the Texans. But let me just go to the timeline and find a video that we can get playing while I go grab a water, so y'all aren't just sitting here without anything going on. And I think what I'll do is this will be the next part of the show, is just scrolling through the timeline and getting all the good stuff that we need. I mean, it'll be a lot of the stuff we just talked about, but it'll kind of be good to kind of reinforce with audio. But yeah, it's funny when I scroll through my timeline, I realize how much I post, and it is an insane amount of content. But you know what? It gets likes and people like it, so it must be wanted. So as long as it's wanted or desired, I will definitely do it. But to me, all this stuff's very interesting. So yeah, let me see. Got some interviews here from the game, and so yeah, I mean, all these interviews I talked about, we'll probably hit a couple of them. Keep scrolling back. Yeah, and you had to obviously the Nico L'Jarius Sneed aspect of the game. L'Jarius Sneed, when asked about him a couple of times, said who. Obviously he found out who he was, so that was pretty funny. I think we're almost there. Man, that's a lot of stuff. I don't know if I'll listen to all of these or not, but there's a good amount of them to do. Okay, we're almost to the top. And yeah, it's tough for Cam Ward. I feel like he definitely isn't playing great, but I mean, he's in a pretty bad environment too. So, and our edge rushers are insane. So, I mean, you can't really, man, there's so many. This is crazy. Like the amount of Texans content is just dumb, dude. All right. I found a good place to start, and it will be with, so let's see. Okay. Let's start with this. Let me share my screen. Let's see here. Share. I'm sorry I'm not doing the comments. I'll get to them when I get back from this.
What's going on, Texans? Came out here. Hey, it's Woody Mars here. We're so excited we got this W. Let's keep this train going. What's going on, Texans? Came out here, got a dub, man. Let's go. Go to Houston. All right, Texas man, we done brought that dub home, baby. Look here, man. It's only up from here. Let's go! Hey,
three guys that deserve a bigger role, too, so... All right, I'll play this DeMeco speech in the locker room. I'll grab a water and be right back.
Here we go, man. Hey, congratulations, man, everybody in here. Guys, the formula works. All right, offensively, we took care of the football. All right, defensively, you guys took it away. All right, we played sound. Up and down the field. Everybody played sound, owning the details and fundamentals of their job. That's what wins. All right, don't get bored with that. That's what wins, all right? And I got 2 game balls for today. One, shout out to Woody? Yeah! Woody! Touchdown! Nah, he didn't say anything. Nah, outstanding job, Woody, man. He ran the ball well all day. The screen pass was huge. That's outstanding job all day. First touchdown in the NFL. Hey! And next up, I'm sorry. It's hard to do this in the league, all right? But for the defense, all right, guys, to shut a team out that hasn't been done here since 2010. So outstanding job for the defense, all right? Leading the way, D Hunt leading the way. Outstanding job, man. Outstanding job. No speech. He's not giving a speech. You bring it up.
Hey, I love the way this team work, man. Keep stacking, fellas. Yeah. Texas on 3. 1, 2, 3. Texas. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hilarious. The biggest guy in the team is the quietest guy in the team. Yeah, I'll keep rolling through here. I see a lot of good comments in there. So, yeah, Graffa says, can we show Danielle Hunter some love? Most underrated defensive player on this team. Yeah, he's probably the most underrated defensive player in the league. And to me, it goes back to his personality, kind of like Andre Johnson was, kind of like how Nico Collins is. I mean, they're not guys demanding attention. Just go about their business. I mean, he's a stud, dude. I mean, he almost had a 3rd sack on that play where Cam got rid of it. definitely proud of him. So here is DeMeco talking about that Jaden Higgins touchdown, about him checking the play.
Outstanding play by CJ, right, of making the check, getting to that play, and an outstanding throw by him and Higgs finishing in the end zone with the catch. The main thing about our offense, all the guys, I wanted to see our guys play with some excitement, play with some enthusiasm, and that's what I saw today. Guys enjoy playing football, and that only happens when you're making plays. So when you execute, you make plays, you can have that enthusiasm. So that's what I liked, and congrats to Higgs for getting his first touchdown as well.
So we got some
play by
momentum.
CJ, right?
It'll come through in these interviews here, but like you start getting one big play. And here's Woody Marks on that third down pat. Well, I'll do a different video of it. And then as I talked about earlier, the Nico Collins, the big gain on 2nd and long. Here's DeMeco talking about that after the game.
I think one of the biggest plays to me offensively was, we started going backwards, right? We had penalties and we started moving backwards a lot. I forget, it was 1st and 30 or something. It was some spots we've been in. But I was proud of the offense, the way we overcame that. CJ was able to hit Nico down the sideline on a go route, and to be able to see us like go backwards and understand that that's not the end. You can overcome it with playmakers being able to make plays. So
a change in
showed
mindset.
Up really well today, making plays for us. I think
that's the mindset we need from the top down. But yeah, so Lamar, obviously, here's the player. He was injured, his hamstring. People speculated that he kind of quit, but I think he's hurt. You saw a report from a beat reporter yesterday about him missing multiple weeks, and then you saw Ian Rappaport today saying he might play. He didn't practice today. I don't think he'll play, and if he does play, he's not going to be as effective as he normally is with his leg, I would assume. But regardless, we can dive back into that. We'll get into their injury report here in a minute. And then, it was cool to see Tank on the sidelines, man. He was very involved and active. They said that he's been running sprints, so, maybe he'll come back sooner than we thought. So here's Nico's response to L'Jarius Sneed after the game.
Who? Oh, 12. Nah. It was fun. I respect 38 over there, Sneed. It was fun. Good matchup. But most importantly, we got that dub. That's all that mattered to me.
Let go. Talk your shit, dude. Stingley had an interview. Great interviewer. He's hilarious. And so that was the Texans' first shutout since 11/28 of 2010. Last time they did that was when Andre Johnson also beat up Cortland Finnegan. And then, after the game, Brian Callahan, he's not a good scene right here. Here's his interview after the game.
Do you think this is a resilient and relentless football team?
I know what you're doing there, Paul. I know what you're doing. And I'm not going to answer that right now.
Well, those are the themes that you've tried to catch on this football team. You're 20-some games in.
Yeah.
And you're stuck.
I'm going to just compose myself here before I say something I regret. But, yes, I think this team is resilient. I think it is relentless. We haven't played good enough football, and I think those are two very distinct, different things. We have to execute at a better level. We have to coach better. That's really all I can say.
Titans fans are stressing. And then here is CJ talking about the Jaden Higgins touchdown pass after the game.
On film, they show like this man where they go help, the best player, the best receiver. So I felt 50 was about to go help Neek. And so I just signaled in a route concept that I thought would work. And so, we executed it very well. They did a good job of, executing the route plan, but I just seen something and I called it and it worked. So, it's going to go that way sometimes. Sometimes it's going to go the other way, but it's all about us. If we're all wrong, we're right. And I think that was that big thing there, and we were right that time and made them pay. So
that's confidence. The more of those you stack together, the better. And then here's CJ, like I alluded to earlier, about the way teams play us.
I think, the way teams are playing us and, the way our offense is kind of built is just death by 1,000 cuts, taking what the defense gives me, and then finally I think after you hit a big play or like a big play comes is when everything kind of opens up. So I feel like that's what happened. Yeah,
so they finally got a big play. So being patient essentially. So let's see. And here's CJ after the game with CBS kind of saying the same stuff.
3 weeks of this season, the word used a lot was frustration. What word do you describe your first win to get it on the books?
It's fun to win in the league, so I had to say fun. It's a blessing to still be in the league and, have an opportunity to come out here, right some wrongs, and just get a rhythm going offensively. Our defense played really well, so it's a big-time win for us.
Yeah, talk about that rhythm you found at the end of the third quarter. You guys finally made it into the red zone, then you scored. The floodgates open from there.
Yeah, a lot of teams are just playing us shell and, not giving us big plays. So it's up to me, to be smart with the ball, chip the ball down, run the ball really well, and then the big plays will come. And then once the big play came to Nico, that was when everything kind of opened up.
All of the touchdowns came from rookies. Brag about your guys, Marks and Higgins, a little bit. I saw you guys celebrating over there.
Yeah, they're all mature, man. This is a mature rookie class. Very proud of them, the way they approach the game. And, they've had to play a lot of ball in the first 4 weeks. So I think it'll be good for them, and they'll be great players in this league.
Fun to watch. Congratulations.
Y'all got to keep playing them. Keep trusting them. Brandon said it would be crazy to get 2 revenge games from last year in 2 weeks, which would be the revenge for home Titans loss, which we got that, and then home Christmas game to the Ravens. Yeah, I agree, man. It could definitely happen for sure. I know the lines for the betting have been changing back and forth, which, by the way, we can pull it up here in a little bit, but calsheet.com if you want to ever it's called trading, but you can pick a side on there. And if you use the promo code HOU, which is for Houston, you get a free $20. But just going back through here, the receivers are great in run blocking as well. Kind of just want to keep going. Let's see. There's Jake Andrews was talking about the game. EJ Speed. Okay, here's an edit I made about the L'Jarius Sneed deal. So let's see this.
DeMeco Collins this week.
Line that shit up.
Few moments later.
Stroud going deep. In stride. Caught by.
Who? Oh, 12.
Collins.
It looks like it's man-to-man, and I don't know what Sneed is thinking there. Sneed didn't try to get hands on him at the line of scrimmage, and he just let Nico Collins run right by him. I guess he knows who Nico Collins is now.
That's who.
Love Ross Tucker.
We all get beat.
Ross Tucker called the game. I was there. I'd just been watching clips. Been on the show. Great guy.
Does he get paid like I get paid? Shout out to him. He's a great player.
Nah. It was fun. I respect 38 over there, Sneed. It was fun. Good matchup. But most importantly, we got that dub. That's all that mattered to me.
The Titans.
F the Titans, baby. Yeah, we didn't even really get into the talk. I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I made this meme and I thought it was funny. I know some people might not like it, but this went viral, the Arch Manning slump buster. So I couldn't wait to recreate this, and I was just hoping that they would hold up their end of the bargain. I think it's hilarious. Good old slump buster. That's what the Titans were, man. They were a great slump buster. So, and here's a graph from or a chart from Next Gen Stats. Texans rookie running back Woody Marks set career highs with 69 rushing yards. Nice. On 17 attempts and 20-plus rushing yards over expected in week 4. But, the thing to me, and I noticed it during the game, look at this chart. We run heavy inside the tackles, but look at his runs. Only a couple may have been inside the tackles, and maybe several were designed. I guess it depends on where the ball is on the hash. But, he probably bounces some out, but they also called some wide zone. They called some mid zone. They called some runs on the perimeter that he can do that Chubb can't. So now that brings a diverse approach to our running game. So rolling through, next clip here is DeMeco Ryans on the defense. This could be interpreted as a shot at CJ Gardner-Johnson, which I don't know if it's a direct shot, but I agree with the sentiment that there were no grenades and that there were grenades prior when he was there, whether it was his fault or not, or just the way he played, or whether he was just not used to the system. But this is why when we lost CJ Gardner-Johnson, obviously we heard all the news as to why. I was not worried at all about drop off with MJ Stewart and thinking we needed to shuffle Petrie to the high post. No, the plan was already in place when we thought CJ Gardner-Johnson might have been out for the year, or, at least a decent amount of time when he had the knee injury. It was next man up. It was MJ Stewart, right? Until Jimmy Ward got back. And that's what we did. MJ Stewart is good, and he's played good safety. And the biggest thing at playing safety, strong safety in this defense is being in the right spot, communicating, And before that, we had CJ GJ, who was new and an aggressive, risky, instinctual player back there with the young, safety and Kalen Bullock. And now you got miscommunications going on. But MJ Stewart, and we'll go through PFF grades here in a bit too, played really well.
What I've been trying to tell them? No, it's just guys just being in the right spot, right? No grenades. I call no grenades going off in the back. Nobody's running free. Everybody was disciplined. They were where they're supposed to be. Yeah, they're gonna make some plays. Good team. And Cam, he got out, threw the ball back across field like we knew he could do. He made a nice play, but guys, they stayed with it. We kept pressing. Our D-line did a great job. We did a really good job in the run game, right? And then our D-line really caused havoc in the passing game. The guys covered really well today.
Yeah, it was a great defensive game. Again, bad offense, rookie quarterback, but shit, we'll take it. And I agree. Shout out Engineer. Imagine back-to-back shutouts. I've been thinking about that. No lie, dude. Like if they have the injuries that we think, obviously Lamar, Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, may not be in the game. I saw their fullback, Ricard, who's a big part of their offense, is on the injury report. I mean, come on, dude. And let's see. Brandon says, and if you got Cooper Rush, Brandon says it also helps not playing a healthy Raven so they can't see what DeMeco would run versus in the playoffs if we face them. Man, great point, Brandon. You're so insightful. I agree. And, that game we had in the playoffs a couple years ago against the Ravens, we came out with the spy with Christian Harris on Lamar and shut them down in the first half. And then after that, they just ran the ball on us, really. So Alex says, I think if we can win Sunday, we can win 5 of our next 6 games. I agree, man. I mean, Seahawks, Niners, you got a bye in there. Yeah, my meme there is kind of crazy. Brandon says, not going to lie, I could see DeMeco telling Caserio he will let him use every draft pick on offense if he can trade for Simmons for him. Yeah, I mean, you got to make a barter like that. And let's see. I don't think anybody has signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson yet. And then a point we alluded to earlier already, that big catch to Nico. Here's CJ talking about it, and he says that happened his rookie year when it was a big play to Tank, and like the floodgates kind of open essentially. So fingers crossed that's what's going to happen here on out.
Sometimes it's that one play that like kicks it off to like get everything rolling. We kind of had that my rookie year. I think I want to say like week 3 against the Jazz. I hit Tank on a post, and after that it seemed like we were just rolling. And so like sometimes it just takes that one play, that one drive, that one and you can't get this done unless you have the protection. Point of emphasis to like finally hit, to finally get the things rolling that we know that we can do. So I think that's kind of the cool thing about playing football. Is it's different every year. It's different every game, and you just got to find the niche. And I think hopefully I did that, but we got to just go back to practice and continue to get better.
Yeah, so we're not just going to say that's what's going to happen, but that's the hope right now. So and we'll keep going. DeMeco on CJ Stroud's performance against the Titans.
Just a mental note on CJ. Where's he at? And what would you rate the team?
I think CJ was in a really good spot. We'll go back and watch the film, but to me, it felt like he made really great decisions with the football today. Probably his best game of the year so far to date. And we just want to continue to build off of where we are now, the outing that he had today. We just got to keep building, stacking off of that one. But I was impressed with what he did today.
Just a mental note on CJ.
All right, so yeah, that's best to date, and then we'll have another clip here in a second of him talking about it again. But back over the chat. Sorry for IG. If you got any comments on there, it's best if you want to get a question answered to hop over on YouTube or X or Facebook. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. And let's see. So I don't know that Simmons would even be needed as a safety for the Texans. I think Jimmy Ward is someone who's been overlooked. And, MJ Stewart, I mentioned being in the system and being a veteran, having a ton of value. I think Jimmy Ward is that and then some, so and I would suspect that he hopefully comes back soon. I think right now it's just more his injury than anything else. I know he was removed from the exempt list and, had no bail on the charges. So, Ethan Weber, do you have any concern about us being low on tight end talent? Injuries to Brevin Jordan and Cade Stover were already a big loss. Don't forget Irv Smith Jr., but it looked like Harrison Bryant really injured his arm Sunday in the game. Yeah, so did Harrison Bryant practice today? I feel like I didn't see him on the injury report. But yeah, I mean, even then, even if he is healthy, if he isn't, it's definitely a concern. And I forget who it was, but I mean, a guy we had just signed, and who was it that played for us at tight end? And we had a freaking guy that, like, I can't even remember his name. We had let's see, offense. Let's go to the grades. Position, tight ends. Brendan Bates played 6 snaps for us. Dalton Schultz played 60. Harrison Bryant played 10. So that tells me that, we had 71 total snaps. Schultz was there on 60 of them. And then we had 10 and 16. So that's 16 total. So I would think that Schultz was probably on the field too when Bryant and Bates were also there. So we barely ran any 12 personnel is what that tells me. I mean, you have British Brooks, who only had 3 snaps, and I think he was pretty much H-back or fullback. He wasn't like a tight end at all. So, we basically ran 11 personnel a ton, which is what we've been doing. And what I did notice is Schultz has been actually really good in run blocking this year. And I think he's been back and forth pass blocking. Some days good, some days not. But I say run blocking like in line, not like out in the wide receiver screen like we saw. But Schultz, so like a lot of like the runs that we run, there's runs called like, let me just stop this. And so I've learned a lot too, like over the years, but a big run concept is called split. You can run like split and then like a different like split zone or split gap or split duo. But basically that means like the tight end motions across the formation right before the ball snapped. And then it basically gets a blocker on the move. It's like pulling a tight end essentially. Instead of having a lineman pull after the snap, it's like a tight end going during the snap. And we run a lot of split inside zone and split duo. And, the tight end will motion. And then what he does is the opposite end, he'll go and just kick him out. So basically you just run straight. And that's what we would saw with Cade Stover. He would do that and do that. And then you can run like whams and traps where you now let the nose tackle come out and crack them there. But anyways, we've done that a lot, but that was Cade Stover's role. Like he was great on the move. He was our split motion guy. And then, when those injuries happen, now Schultz is doing it more and he did pretty good. Like, he had one where he went to go kick out the end, but the end wasn't there. So then he did correct and like sat there and like throttled down with the linebacker and then let the linebacker declare the direction and then washed him in and then Woody bounced it out. So, so but I do think the tight end position, I don't know what's out there. It would be nice to make a move, but it's again the Titans, but we showed flexibility to adapt to the injury. So hopefully that persists. But it's definitely a concern for sure. We'll see what they do going forward. And but yeah, I mean, basically like Schultz is like a regular tight end and flexing him out and tempo and spread, and he's basically like a big slot. We don't really run it. We hadn't ran any 10 personnel. I don't know if we ran any 10 personnel, which is 4 wide receivers to date. But that's essentially our 10 personnel is when he's out there and split out wide and quick game. Texan Storm on YouTube, biggest concern for the upcoming game. Haven't quite gotten into it that much quite yet, but I would say, it's whether Lamar plays or not, but let's just assume that he doesn't. I'm not really worried about Henry. I know he's like gashed us in the past, and he did in that last game on Christmas, which was just a bad game all around. I think Foley was out for that game, our big run stopper, but the other games where Henry had in Tennessee against DeMeco didn't fare well. We bottled him up. Obviously, different O-line for those teams as opposed to the Ravens O-line last year, but their O-line this year is different too. So, I I guess the concern though is just bottling him up, which I think we can do. So let's see, keep going through. What Simmons? Oh, you're talking about what Simmons were you talking about? Oh, Jeffrey Simmons. My bad. Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah, I mean Jeffrey Simmons would be dope, but it would be steep. Nosh says, shout out Nosh. Plus, we played them on a short week. Either way, it's time to get back. 3 games in 10 days. Yeah, CJ talked about that today. They asked him like if last year had any bearing. He's like, no, different teams. Like, plus we're not playing on short rest. Yeah, that was a massacre, dude. That ruined my Christmas, dude. I'll never forget that. Brandon says, Settle 28, Fadakasi 30, Edwards 31, Rankins 31, Simmons 28. Sounds like Simmons is hitting the age range DeMeco likes for his DTs. Yeah, like you get like value on aging guys and you use them in a correct way. So, yeah, they'll never trade him is what King says. But yeah, let's back to here and let's get a couple of these, a couple more interviews going, and it's going to be a long one, fellas. We'll see. I'm trying to speed it up. Here's TJ after the game.
And I thought Kales did a good job of keeping it balanced. And it's just, trusting me in some areas to get us in the right looks and checks and things like that. So I thought, that every game that's huge. You got to be able to run the ball in this league. And, I thought Chubb and Woody, they complement each other really well. And our O-line did it amazing, both run blocking and pass blocking. And then also our tight ends stepped in there and did their job, and receivers as well in the run game.
Yeah, and so basically CJ's acknowledging, he's saying that he trusted me in some areas. So like now he's like, it feels like was not being given enough control, and now he's being given more control, which is what we thought we would have from day one. And he said that he was able to do some right checks. And then here's CJ post game about Woody Marks. Let's see here.
I was a really big fan of Woody in college when he was at USC. Thought he was really elusive, really, really crafty. And I thought he did a good job, since those days in that Lincoln Riley offense. And I thought today we kind of used him in that light, spread him out, gave him some familiarity, running the ball and some plays that he's ran before. And he's a very dynamic pass catcher. But, yeah, he did great. Hig, is a dog.
So on Woody, like first – CJ Stroud, did he help scout him and recruit him? Did he say, hey, I like that guy, I've watched his game, like he knows about him from USC, Lincoln Riley? And then, I picked up on that they like they adapted to his skill set and ran plays that he was comfortable running. No shit. Great. Love it. That's great to hear. And now you're talking about Higgins.
Somebody was, very elusive, great route running. And him one-on-one, a lot of times he's big and he's fast, tall. That's a mismatch. So he did a great job on that touchdown play, and he just continued to get better every week. And I think Jay knows same thing. A lot of our
and then him talking about Higgins, like, yes, thank you, duh. That's why we drafted him. Like we haven't been given the ball, so that's good to see. We're getting him involved. Like a lot of good stuff happening.
Rookies are doing great. Tay had a great game. So a lot of the guys that are doing big things in their first year, it's going to be huge for us.
You just need to get Noel involved more. And shout out Texans Jacob. He said Ed Ingram is the highest graded offensive guard in the NFL through 4 weeks via PFF. Again, PFF, take it for what it's worth. But, I mean, his play on film seems to be pretty good. He's balling in pass and run block. His run block is really good, 90, and the next closest is 82. And let's see. Jacob also said CJ Stroud has been pressured on just 34.5% of his dropbacks this season, which is the lowest of his career and currently 17th in the NFL. And so, yeah, that's from Next Gen Stats. So, yeah, I mean, the O-line hasn't been as bad as we thought. I wrote an article on that. It's really just the running backs and pass pro, which was better this game. And we'll see that it was Nick Chubb did bad, but Woody Marks did good, and then the tight ends did bad again in pass pro. So, it's not necessarily the O-line, it's the running backs and tight ends and pass pro. That's our weak link, and more so running backs. You guys.
It was exciting to see Woody
DeMeco
show
and Woody
up the
Marks.
way he showed up. Like some of the runs
Monday.
he made, like making guys miss in the hole, playing physical. Some of our short yardage runs, him being able to get downhill in the passing game, not just the catching the ball and running, but the protection. He had some really good protection clips as well. I thought just overall, like he had a really outstanding game for a rookie to step in and play the way that he played. Really, really proud of what he did. Right? He sparked a lot of excitement for us offensively, for our team, just seeing him being able to get in the end zone, make a huge play on the third and I think 15 plus, like him to take the screen pass and to convert it, get a first down there, then the next play line up and take a rush into the end zone. So it's a lot of exciting plays, a lot of big plays for us that we're excited to see, how much more he can handle.
We're excited to see how much more he can handle. Let's go. And then let's see. Nosh says, "What's your confidence level on Kaylee?" I mean, I'm optimistic, man. I'm not like trying to like write him off by any means. I mean, I'm seeing signs of progress, but as Brandon says, answer made me wonder if Stroud was one of the people watching USC, not just Casera. Yeah, I mean, they got a bunch of USC guys. Brandon says, I had a feeling that the offense would start off slow this year and then accelerate as the players got more comfortable and found out what worked. Yeah, that seems to be it. Higgins does need more targets. And then there was a question you had, Brandon. I think Brandon asked. He said, do you think the players like Kaylee's scheme or do they like calling their own plays more? So we'll get to it eventually, but Stroud alluded to today is like, we all like the run and gun stuff because we're younger and like basically kind of like highlighted the balance of like, hey, this is what we like, run what we like, but Kaylee's like, this is what I like and what I want to do, and like finding that compromise. But it sounds like he's slowly taking more and more input from the players, which is what we've been saying, like, hey, spread the bitch out and freaking throw it, which obviously they want to run the ball. So like you can't just totally abandon the run, or I mean, you can still pass to open the run, but still. But here is DeMeco on the Nick Chubb and Woody Marks duo.
Two different styles, right? I think Woody's just more shifty back, more speed, getting on the edge, just presents different problems. And Chubb, just consistent power, pressing forward, making plays in the run game, making some really tough physical runs. So it's two different guys, two different styles, and I think they complement each other well.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, the balance. And then Grafo says, did you see that open room space after Woody's block tackle for CJ? Yeah, dude. I mean, if you watch the game, like there was like one drive where he made like every play for us, like blocking, running, catching. He's a stud, dude. And then Brandon makes a good point too. If the Ravens cornerbacks are out, this is the perfect game for Stroud to build some chemistry with his receivers. I agree, man. Run that bitch up. And then Nosh says Juice is solid left guard. I agree. Again, growth. DeMeco's doing the right thing. And then let's see, kind of just going through. Keep going here. Back to my point earlier about time of possession. Here's Aziz Alshire talking about that video via Adam Wexler.
But yeah, man, it's complimentary football. Obviously, you look at the time of possession as a defense when you're only on the field for basically a quarter of a game. I think at one point I'm looking up and it's like 29 minutes to 13 minutes. Like that's elite when you talk about just not having to play 70, 80, plays a game. It just completely changes the tempo and the energy. And then we already have that swarm mentality, so it just fueled us even more. So that's really shout out to the offense with that time of possession.
That's what DeMeco wants to do. And yeah, we'll get to it, but the Ravens are missing. Why am I blanking on how to say his name? It's right there. Their defensive tackle. We'll get to the injury report in a second on that. Roquan Smith. Yeah, we'll get to all that stuff. So yeah, there was the screen by Woody. Let me play it. I will mute it in case it does any, copyright junk on it. But yeah, here's the screen by Woody. It's 3rd and 17 in the fourth with 5 minutes left. Jake Andrews and Ed Ingram get out, and he kind of waits for him, finds a crease, cuts in front of Ingram and gets it. Like, I mean, It's just impressive, dude. It's Bo Diggity. Yeah, Bo Diggity was on TV. That's nuts. That's so awesome, dude. Shout out Bo. If y'all don't follow him, he's big on TikTok and Instagram. Makes a bunch of funny videos. Does a good job. And then here's again DeMeco talking about the Nico play.
The play of the game for me, because we've been in the situations before the first couple weeks where we went backwards, right? We've had 1st and 20, unfortunately. We don't want to be in those situations. But I love how that game unfolded, and with that play happening with CJ and Nico down their sideline just shows you can overcome anything if you just keep pressing forward. You continue to put the ball in your playmakers' hands. You can make plays to overcome whatever situation you're in, and that's just a thing that I think our entire team needed to see. It doesn't matter where you are on the field, what the down and distance is, like, are you going to step up and make a play, right? And we had our best players in that moment, CJ and Nico. They stood up and they made a play to put us in a really great spot.
What a shift in a mindset, dude. They're up here weeks before, like, oh, we can't do anything because it's 3rd and long. It's just throwaways. Like, what do you want us to do? And now it's like, no, we can make these plays. Like, thank you. Like, that play was monumental for him and the staff to have that mindset. And then, like he's saying, for the players to have that belief too. The comments there, Johnny was asking about that outfit about Aziz Alshire. He's wearing an ascot on his neck. If y'all didn't see it, if you're listening, I cannot comment on style as a bland middle-aged white male. I have no fashion, so I sit all those conversations out. I wouldn't wear it. I just wear like a golf polo every day, or my own tees from the Texans, like this one, like my Will Anderson Jr. Terminator shirt. And yes, Matabuke was what I was trying to say. I got caught up there. Players mess up sometimes. Sorry about that. And it's funny to think that Aziz dressed like that is just a killer on the field. That's why you can't really say much. Like, that dude's a killer, dude. Like, he can wear whatever the hell he wants. And he's a great guy. He came to my watch party last year and watched his team play the Chiefs in person and sat there and talked ball with them for a half. It was insane. Aziz he's a stud, dude. And he's a great leader as well. And then Engineer says, this season is making me realize coaches aren't as smart as we thought they were, LMAO. Yeah, and then of course too, like they'll say, we also like see stuff, but maybe there's stuff behind the scenes, like maybe these like and as pertaining to rookies, like maybe they don't know the scheme, or maybe they're messing up here and there. But a lot of these, general observations that most of us have made, if and when they finally do it, like, shit, it works. And it's not just players too. It's just, philosophy. Texan Swarm says, do you want to see this team be aggressive like the Lions? Yes, I do. Absolutely. And I think we're still getting there, and I think they want to be like that, but it's just, the offense, it happened in a small degree in the fourth quarter against the Titans. You just have to freaking score points earlier than the fourth quarter. But yeah, they should be. I think you're more so referring to like fourth downs, which we were. We went in the first drive of the game. We went for fourth down on our end of the field. So, but yes, like late in the game, and like you saw in that Ravens game when they beat them, they went for like a fourth down late in the game. And that will come with the more confidence they have. King says that boy Aziz hollered after the game blouses. That's that Rick James. That's hilarious. That Dave Chappelle, Rick James reference there. That's great. Let's see. Keep going. And here's Woody Marks after the game on 610 with Clint Sterner and Sean Pendergast about the block he had on Quandre Diggs, who was chirping him.
So he was talking all game. We kind of knew he was pressed. I'll say the O-line coach and our the offensive coordinator and the offensive coaches, when they press, they coming. So I knew he was coming. The linebacker wasn't coming. I kind of sat inside, and then when he came, I really just struck my helmet right in his chest, and he just went down. He was talking on the ground. I was like, I'm not letting you get up. So I heard the
You hear that? He said, struck my helmet.
referee. I was like, I'm gonna let you get up.
Now you can get up.
What was he saying on the ground? What could you possibly say with you having just put him on his butt?
Yeah, he was like, you ain't nothing. You a rookie. I'm like, bro, I just put you on your back.
I just put you on your back. That's crazy about Quandre Diggs. Like, bro, like you got to know when you get work. But Um, one observation I had from that was he said when he was pressed. So maybe our pass pro was better for RBs, at least in this instance, because maybe the Titans coaching is bad and they give away their tells. Their tell is like, hey, when they're at the line of scrimmage, they are going to blitz. And that's basically what he's saying by press. And then also an observation that somebody had pointed out to me, which I kind of agree with, is, maybe they made an adjustment pass pro as running backs where they're putting their helmet into the player rather than trying to, they were kind of trying to cut players, and like they're actually staying, squared up on the player, on the defender too. So that's an element there. And then here, obviously, we traded Cam Robinson, which I haven't talked about. What we've talked about, online, but not in the show. That could be a potential head scratcher. I can see both sides, but again, Casario's way of addressing the O-line and whatever it is just go with the flow and let it all figure itself out, and be nimble and move around. There wasn't a real plan after trading LT. It's just trade LT and just figure it out. Obviously, Cam Robinson, you sign him for $12 million for 1 year. Probably one of the better tackles out there. There wasn't a lot of tackles available in free agency. And then you drafted a player and, let the competition go, and Ursery beat him out. And so, he starts one game because of injury, because of shuffle with Ed Ingram. And then, Ursery basically starts the next 2 or 3 games at left tackle. And it sounds like DeMeco. And then, we'll get into the numbers here in a second. I don't know if I went by the numbers already, but basically we're eating like almost 8 to 9 million in dead cap for a player that we got 1 game out of. Like, we didn't really get much out of him. So yeah, I mean, it's tough in that sense. You can also say, hey, we didn't expect this rookie left tackle in the second round to pan out, which he's still, he did decent in this last game, and he's still getting better. But there's also the concern of tackle depth now. Like, okay, like, like Texan Swarm says, now Blake Fisher is the backup left tackle. So Casario talked about it with John Harris and them. He mentioned Trent Brown as well. But yeah, I mean, your tackles now are Ariante Ursery, Titus Howard, Blake Fisher, and Trent Brown. You now have 4, whereas you kind of had 5, and Titus could always have the guard flex before. So, I mean, it could be risky, and he's always bragged about, playing, having a bunch of tackles on the roster. We'll see how it shakes out. So, I mean, my guess would be if something were to happen to Ursery, that you would move Titus to left tackle, and then you can have Fisher play right tackle. And who knows, Trent Brown, I think his window, I don't know if he's been practicing or not, but if he can still provide reps or not. But here's DeMeco on the trade, which to me, I'll play it and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
Yeah, we traded Cam to the Browns today. It gives Cam an opportunity to go play. Cam wants to play, so it gives him an opportunity to do that, and we wish Cam nothing but the best. He's handled himself the right way since he's been here. He's done everything the right way, everything that we asked him to do. So we wanted to do right by him and give him the opportunity.
What does that say about?
For Ursery, I think he's done a really good job. Still has a ways to go. Still has room to grow, room to get better, and those are separate from each other, and that has nothing to do with Cam. But Tay has done a really nice job.
Yeah, so basically he lies. First he said, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, they've done this multiple times where they do right by the player, but he makes it sound like the player did right by us, handled the situation well, was respectful. So then we, in turn, did him a solid and traded him because he wanted to play. Made a move that maybe wasn't necessarily in the best interest of your team. But you can argue that if you do that over time, then it comes back good on you in return, where players now are more willing to sign with you and, yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, that's a tough deal. Like, being a good guy versus a good business guy, I really don't know where I sit on that whole dilemma there. But then you talk about Ursery, his play, and then it has nothing to do with his play. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you traded Cam because Ursery beat him out. So that was kind of a weird answer to the question there. I'm not sure what he was trying to do with that answer, but hey, it is what it is. And then, but yeah, Johnny Lambeau talking about Christian Kirk, wanting Noel over him. I do too. But again, I don't know if Noel is ready. I would assume he's ready. He played in a spread out offense, so he knows these things. And it's still early, and maybe Kirk is adjusting, or maybe he's not as good as I thought. But I've noticed on film in the 2 games that he's played, like the mental stuff has not been good. The connection was bad against Jacksonville. It seemed better. I haven't finished the film against the Titans. But there's just like little things like, soft shoulder we talked about. If there's a defender on this shoulder, you throw the ball here. So now the receiver knows, hey, ball's here, catch and turn this way. CJ did that, threw the ball, soft shoulder, defender's here, and then catches it and then turns the other way and runs right into it. It's like little stuff like that. And then, the route miscues. I don't know if that's just how he always is, if he's just getting back in the groove. But we'll have to see where that goes. And then I agree with Johnny on this. He says that Simmons' sack was a combo of CJ adjusting the O-line and play clock running down. 5 guys blocked 97 and 98 jumped over on no one. Yeah, so that play, it looked bad. That's, what I ended up, I misdiagnosed what happened first. I first thought it was like a wham block, but it turns out that they got to it comes back to getting to the line of scrimmage late and then making an audible, and then Ed Ingram not knowing where to go, and then Jeffrey Simmons being unblocked and tackling CJ in like 2 seconds. And I think it was actually a run play, honestly. And I think still, as long as he gets tackled in the backfield, it's still a sack. And then, they ran some jumbo, which I thought was cool. They had Fisher out there with 6 linemen. That was cool to see. That's smart. Like if your tight ends suck at blocking or you're having trouble blocking, then put a jumbo package out there. And then Nosh says DeMeco should try Trent Brown in goal line situation. That'd be dope. Julius Harris on YouTube. What did we trade Cam Robinson for? We basically gave them Cam and a 7th, and we got a 6th round pick. And I believe it was 2027, maybe. So a couple years down the road, improved around by 1. And then we saved like $2 to $3 million in cap space, if that. So yeah, I mean, we didn't really get much. That's what's crazy about it. And then Lambeau, they need to be fishing for a new swing tackle. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, Caserio, I've always, prior to the start of this season, I was one of those guys that, rarely criticize him. Now I kind of cautiously, watch maneuvers, but we do know it can do the unheard of. I mean, he can make a bunch of other deals. But yeah, here's the run by Woody. This is just a simple play I found. But I mean, this is a split duo. Split meaning the tight end is running across the formation, and normally the edge would come out and he would kick him out. Let me make it bigger. He would kick him out, but the edge looks like a 3-4 front. And the edge crashes in, so Titus takes him, washes him in, and so then now Schultz is like, okay, that's my guy. This is good by Schultz. Okay, now I got the backer. And then rather than just run up there and do that, he breaks down under control. And then the backer jumps in. So now he has to wash him in. And Woody, there's a duo double team right here. Titus washes his guy into that double team. This is muddied to hell. So he presses this point here. And then now, this isn't really much here. Bouncing backside, I don't know. So he bounces it outside. Nice little jump step. But then now you got a backer here, and now you just broke that dude's ankles. And then like that's a run play that most running backs get nothing. He gets freaking 8-10 yards. Look at this. That's nuts, dude. That's special right there. Let's see. Keep going. DeMeco Ryans on EJ Speed.
EJ's done a really good job with the reps he's gotten. Like he goes out, he tackles well, he flies around on the field, making plays. So just wanted to get him some more opportunities, and I thought he did a really nice job with the more opportunities that he was given.
Love it.
EJ's done.
I think he did too. And then here's DeMeco again on Stroud versus the Titans.
CJ played his best game so far this year. Just for him, just the timing, the decision making. In this game was really good, right? And it goes to when we had different alerts in the run game and the passing game. So he did a really good job of making the proper communication, going to the right spot with the football, but also in our run game, getting us in the right, I would say the perfect, but the best run for what we saw from.
That is awesome to hear. Like, this is what we didn't have before. Like, Bobby Slick, wide zone, you just run wide zone. This is where the New England system with Brady could change the game. Like, if the run play called was not good to that front, or if you had a pass play and, hey, like, we could run the ball right here, he now is able to do that. And DeMeco saying he's doing that, this, I mean, this is stuff you should be doing regardless. Like, hey, the defense is taking this away and giving us this. Let's check into that. Now he has the ability to do that. It's not just pass game or hot routes. Like, hey, like, all right, we got 3-on-2 on the right. Let's freaking run it to the right. Okay, shit, common sense. And Stroud sounds like he's doing good at it.
Their defense, so not just on that one play, but it was multiple plays in the game where CJ did a good job of communicating, and he made great decisions with the football. Right, protected the football well. Things weren't there. He was able to get out of the pocket on a couple to save some plays and gain some yards. So I really am pleased with his decision making on yesterday.
That is what this is what I was thinking about when he had more control. Like, but I feel like they didn't allow him to do this. Like, I get all the new stuff, but like, they finally are letting him do what he can do, and like, that's why I'm optimistic going forward. Whether it's the Titans or not, that's us. That's us stuff. That's not opponent stuff. So that is super encouraging for me. And then this is again DeMeco with Mark Vandermeer talking about EJ Speed, and every week he goes on there and says we need to lean in on this, lean in on that. This week he says we need to lean in on playing EJ more.
Defense coming in, providing some speed, pardon the pun, and some other things as well.
Yeah, that's the thing that stands out. EJ is, man, he's long, tall, athletic guy, and he can fly sideline to sideline, and he shows up in a physical manner. Like, he has a lot of big hits, and I just thought, what he's done on special teams. He showed up on the kickoff team a lot, making a lot of plays, making a lot of tackles for us. Just thought he's earned the right to get a few more opportunities on defense just for us to evaluate it, see how it looks. And I thought he did.
I will say this too with, like personnel decisions. Like, to us, it's obvious, like, Speed should be playing over Henry. It's easy for us to say to do that, but like, being the coach, you can't just, flip someone in and out that quickly, and then all of a sudden you need them again. Like, there is like the human element, the psyche and psychology around it. And so, like, hey, you give someone a little bit of a leash, Henry doing worse, EJ doing good. And then now it's like to the point when you make it, that player can understand, like, look, bro, like, there's no argument here, as opposed to where, like, if you just project, hey, we signed EJ Henry, you might suck this year, I'm just going to put him in there. So there is a little bit of that.
A really nice job with the opportunity that he was given. He stood up. He made some plays for us there defensively as well. So I want to continue to lean in on that and give him some more.
Coach, it's time to talk defense.
That's his new, like, little nuggets, lean in. And then DeMeco on Tommy Togiai right here, another lean in.
Definitely the guy at the top of the list. Yeah. Like, every day in practice, like, Tommy does it the right way. And he gets in the game. It's not flashy. Right. He's not the big name guy, which that doesn't matter. It just proves when you go out and you do the things that you're coached to do, you will make the plays you're supposed to make. But Tommy, he plays with outstanding awareness. You cannot run a screen if Tommy is in there. You're not fooling him. Like, he runs to the ball with tremendous effort. Like, they're on fourth down. Like, our guys are gassed. We were able to sub out our defensive line. Tommy is the guy in there who gets his hands up at the opportune time, bats the ball down. Hey, we're off the field defensively. That's like another turnover for us, getting a stop on fourth down. And Tommy is, man, I keep saying he's one of our most consistent guys. He's going to do it right every single time. And those are the guys I want in the game. Guys that are trustworthy, guys do it the right way, guys play with relentless effort.
So he's slowly finding the guys that he wants to play more and more, which is awesome. Yeah, here's Nick Chubb. Here's Woody Marks. It's like the Spider-Man meme. And they're 5'11", 5'10", Spider-Man meme. Yeah, and I had so there was this. Texans defense is top in the points per game allowed by 4 full points. This is Jason Braddock, 12.8 Texans. The next highest or lowest is 16.8 Seahawks. And then I broke it down a little bit further, and I said opponents are averaging 24.7 points per game in their other games, but just 12.8 versus Houston. The Rams are averaging 28.7 in games, not versus the Texans. Versus Texans, 14. Titans, 17 versus 0. Bucks, 25.7 versus 20. Jags, 26.3 versus 17. And then I said the Texans aren't just leading the league in points per game allowed; they're cutting their opponent's scoring in half. Obviously, a goose egg helps that a lot. But yeah, and then Ariante Ursary was the third best rookie in terms of pressure percentage rate allowed, only 6.3%. So he's trending up. Obviously, lesser opponent is a big factor there as well. Scrolling through here, just going to get a couple more sound bites. EJ Speed, this is him with Mark Vandermeer. His mindset is insane, dude. This is awesome right here.
Ben, what have you done? What has the defense done? What do you bring into the table here? We can see it, but in your perspective.
Like I said the first time we met, just getting into the new team, it's kind of like earning the team's trust, the coach's trust, the whole organization trust to where, I can play on a defense who was already solidified before I even came in. You know what I mean? I had their strides of greatness and just, helping them go towards the goal that I want and they want. And, we gelling together.
That's insane awareness. Like a lot of guys would come in and be like, I'm better, and like get pissed off they're not playing, but like that's mature as hell. And then also, look, he's got a glove on his hand. He might have hurt his hand.
It's a longer journey.
I saw him during the game doing something. So, and he's tough. He played through that stuff, but he's got a glove, like a compression glove on.
Then what's put in front of us right now, still gaining the trust of my teammates and coaches and stuff like that. I always, want to go into it with a serving mentality. So that's kind of like the mission I'm on, the mission we on.
EJ, I get frustrated with it.
I'm a common sense guy. It's 53 men on this roster. And in the NFL, it's even a smaller margin to make it on a 53-man roster. And it's only, 5-6 linebackers on every team. So if you're not capable of to be a starter, I don't think you would be on a roster.
Yeah.
Everybody in the locker room, and I mean everybody in that locker room can play and start at their respective positions, or they wouldn't be there. So, like I said, it just becomes to a point to where you got to prove, and I've never been scared to prove anything in my life. So
that is true.
Going into it and just proving that I belong. You know what I mean? I came from a D2 school. It wasn't like everything was peaches and cream for me coming into the NFL. I proved that I belong in every situation that I went into in my sports career. So, there's just another obstacle to do it again.
EJ.
Man, it's like that's insanely good stuff, dude. Like maturity, perspective, mindset, and like I mean, I got a lot of respect for him, man. I learned more about him too. So we'll get to that in a second, more on him. It'll be here in a second about his story a little bit. We'll do a couple of these mic'd up clips. Here's DeMeco reacting to the run by Woody Marks for a touchdown.
First down at the 18. Handoff, Woody, left side 15,
Man,
10,
we got it.
5.
Oh, look at that move.
Dives into the end zone. His second touchdown of the day.
Wow. That's your back right there, DB.
DB is Danny Barrett, the running back coach.
What a move. Great job, man. Great job. Great job, boy. Great job. You guys got
I just noticed this. Oh, dude. Look at Kaylee slapping CJ's helmet.
Boy. Great job. You guys got
And then look at his reaction.
Great job. You guys got all.
Hold on. Let me do Kaylee slaps Stroud's helmet like out of excitement. And like, this is maybe overanalyzing, but it looks like Stroud looks at him like, what the hell, bro?
Great job, boy. Great job. You guys got all you got.
That's crazy. Maybe there is some rift there. Who knows? I mean, that's just
like first down.
I would do the same thing if you stopped me in the helmet.
Handoff,
bro?
Woody, left side 15.
Yeah, and some more mic'd up DeMeco. Like I said earlier, he says the QB sneak it.
Go get a yard, man. Let's go. Sneak it. And knock these dudes off the ball. We got to be able to go get a yard.
Stroud will sneak it. He's got it easily.
Oh, take that. We got that all day. Let's go. Come on.
If there's one thing we can take and do well from the Patriot system, for me, it's the quarterback sneak. It was unstoppable. Brady is not Jalen Hurts, and it's mental. It's just like the run check. Okay, you can hurry up to line of scrimmage, or you can use numbers. Okay, there's a guy here. Okay, we'll shift that way. We'll shift this way. Like, if executed properly, you don't need to be some beast. You just got to execute it properly. And this was cool too. DeMeco's had several mic'd up moments, but he called an interception on this for
Hunt, baby. Hunt. Like them gloves, man. Look like some interception gloves. What's on the inside? Yeah, them interception gloves right there.
Again, and now last moment throws it, and now it's picked off.
Go!
DeMeco's so hyped, bro.
And Sting, the recipient, deeper, got the pick.
Great job. Great job, fella. Great job. I see. I see you, baby. Outstanding job. Outstanding. Yes,
Love
sir.
it, dude. And then another mic'd up. This is him, showing his love for Tommy, snuffing out the screen, or not batting down a pass on 4th down.
Forward throwing, and the ball is tipped and incomplete.
Great job. Great job.
Tommy Togiai getting a paw on it.
Great job, boy.
That's why we want Tommy in. He's just going to do it right, man. Every time. 4th down, big play. Just by doing your job, man. Love it.
Basically saying, like, hey, guys, y'all put him in the game, dude. That's sick. And then let's see here. This is him and Cole Popovich. I think this is like him joking with Cole, but it's probably also their mindset and philosophy.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
You know what they say, I'm just going to tell them all day.
Run the ball.
Run the ball.
Hey. Run
It's
the ball.
funny. Popovich looks like an O-line coach. Just a big dude, doesn't care how he looks, baggy shirt, and he just wants to run the ball. Going through, so let's see. The Texans defense 1st in points allowed, 5th in total yards allowed per game, and 7th in passing yards allowed per game. Here is the play I was talking about. DeMeco and Frank Ross mulling through a decision while Woody Marks converts that 3rd and long screen.
3rd down and 18 from the 38.
Yeah, field goal alert here. Frankie, we good? Field goal or no?
I mean, range is good, Coach. I mean, you're up 3 scores. I would punt this one.
Woody Marks across the 30.
Now field goal.
Now, 1st down.
What a catch and run by Woody Marks.
Yeah, that's sick.
Oh, man. Great
That's so
job.
sick.
Great job. I can only hit you because if I never work for a head coach that's not jacked, I can't push him like that. Stay.
Frank Ross
at 18.
He's so hyped. That was a cool moment, dude. And then here's Woody Marks on 6:10 about the pass play he had.
Already with the field goals, but the first touchdown of the game, the pass from CJ to you there. Take us through that play?
I would say we've been going over it. We had it in last week. We've been going over it in practice. It looked good. We kind of knew they was going to go with the motion, so just slip out. We actually had a miscue about it this last practice. Then it came out, it was perfection. So we scored.
Yeah. Could you feel it opening up right there, too? Like, do you feel it right from the get-go, from the snap? You feel like this is going to work?
I knew I was going to be open.
Yeah. And how about?
And so to me, that was an observation. Another one I forgot to touch on, but, I feel like in this offense, like we haven't schemed open easy plays for our quarterback like ever, where you watch like other good offenses and good coordinators, no matter how good the quarterback is, they still have easy answers for him. And this was first play of the 4th quarter. So coming out of a dead ball where you have time to talk over the play, you run a play that you schemed up during the week that you knew with this look. It was a fake jet sweep pitch that they would go with the motion. They would misdirect left, and then Woody could run up and leak out underneath the line of scrimmage to the right. And they executed it perfectly, and it worked. It was an easy, simple one-read answer for CJ, and it was a touchdown. And I noticed there was at least one other play where Kirk had ran a motion and then returned, like motion 2 or 3 times in the backfield, lost his guy, and then just went on the flat. It was a quick, easy, right off the bat read. So that's what we need. So let's see what else we got. Yeah, so the PFF win rate among edges through week 4. Number 1 is Myles Garrett. Number 2 is Will Anderson Jr. 3 is Micah Parsons, and Danielle Hunter is number 4. Right behind him, 27.4%. Will has 31.3%. And let's see what else we got. We are scrolling through, almost done. Here's Jaden Higgins on the audible.
Said CJ checked that play.
Yep.
When you hear him check to that play, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking touchdown. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to get an opportunity, and he threw a great ball.
Yeah.
So all I had to do was, just get open and make the play.
So what
Feeling
about
confident.
once you
And I felt like I had this observation between last week and this week. Like, I forget when he was asked, maybe in the locker room, but he was maybe it was in the post game in the locker room. But he was like, "I'm just glad to be given the opportunity." So it's like, it feels like he wasn't trusted, and like he was like grateful to even get anything. It's just, it was just a weird observation I had, like that it was even to that point. But hey, we're here now, and like it's only up from here is what I'm trying to get at. And this is EJ Speed talking about his story. I did not know this about him. So, obviously he went to a Division II school at Tarleton State, which was close to home, which was Fort Worth. The reason he went there is what it sounds like mostly was because his brother was diagnosed with cancer his senior year and passed away. And so he wanted to stay close to family. And he seemingly sacrificed going to other bigger schools and went to Tarleton, and they allowed him to redshirt. So he touches on that, doesn't get into detail. Once I heard this, I went and found it out. And then earlier in the week, he was at, a hospital, visiting cancer patients, because obviously it's near and dear to him. So the more I learn about him, the more I love it. But it just goes to show that he was selfless. He was there for his family, sacrificed his own potential, opportunities with athletics, and still went to a D2 school and still made it to the NFL and still started as a special teamer, became a starter, and then became a free agent, started over again, became a special teamer, and is now working his way to be a starter again. So like, and then for him to have that mindset we heard earlier, and after you kind of paint this picture, like it's just like extremely mature and respectable like mindset on the way to approach things. And it also speaks to like, this is nothing for him. Like he's already been through a bunch of adversity and he's already won. So like, he's also very confident in himself to where he doesn't have to like, he knows the process will work out. Like he's, anyways, here's him saying that. If it'll press play.
Recruiting process. I had some family issues going on at the time. It's something I get into another time.
Yeah, of course.
With my brother and everything like that, and I just wanted to stay close to home.
Sure.
So Tarleton State was 45 minutes down the road. I think the head coach at that time, was Kerry Fowler. Coach Lon Reisman, actually running for mayor right now at Stephenville. So shout out Lon Reisman. He was the athletic director at the time.
Yeah.
And he and they welcomed me with open arms. They knew my situation, allowed me to redshirt my first year just to get my mind and everything right. And it was a perfect time. It was perfect timing. 45 minutes down the street, my family could come see me. I can go home, see my family at that time. And I needed to be close to home at that time.
Yeah, makes sense.
I ended up there and stayed there for the rest of my years and, came out as a 5th round draft pick.
Did you?
And that's what's crazy too, is DeMeco talks about like when recruiting players in the draft or free agency is understanding their why, what makes them tick. I mean, it's pretty obvious what his why is, his family, his brother. I get goosebumps talking about this. Like, that's crazy, dude. And he's been cool too. Like, I've obviously talked about, like, I think he's a bigger signing than what he is. And like, I've been friendly with him and had conversations and, wants to do an interview. But he's been waiting for the time to be right, the team to be doing better, him to probably get in a better role. So that would be dope to have an interview with him. Like, now knowing that, like, to really dive in, if he'd be comfortable. I mean, how can you not like the guy? And here's Perkins. We were talking about this earlier. So Kendrick Perkins capping on Jay Stroud on Lil Kiki's Legend Talk podcast.
Okay, here's the thing. CJ Stroud is not it, bro. Woo. He's not it. He's not it. If you want to keep it real, like, he came out, he had a great rookie
What you
year.
mean it?
What I'm saying is he's not that
He's
guy.
not number 2 it. He's not number 2 pick it. He's gonna be just a starter. He don't have the it factor. What kind of it?
He's not that quarterback that's gonna take the Texans and the Texans fan base to the promised land. He's not, bro. And you know this. How much film y'all watch on the quarterback?
Enough.
Huh?
Yeah.
A lot, right? So from his rookie season till now, has he went forward or backwards? He
Well,
regressed. Okay, hold on. He's regressed. And the thing that I'm watching about him, he still can't throw to his left side. That's a problem.
That's
He
big
still don't
cap,
know how to
dude.
scan
Come
the
on, bro.
field when his first option is not there. That's
Big
another
cap.
problem. So when I'm looking at it, is he your guy? No, he's not your guy.
That shit don't grow on trees.
Huh?
That shit right there, that number 2 pick shit, that don't grow on no trees.
What you mean it don't grow on trees?
What I mean by that, ain't no CJ Stroud just now at the bar or something. Let's get something out there. Ain't that shit, this is we come with this shit for you talking about like we finna just kick him in his ass.
I didn't say I was about to.
You talking about he ain't it, for him not to be that mean we talking about doing some other shit.
I'm saying, well, okay, so what is your goal?
But you saw flashes of the number 2 pick before.
I don't want to see
You said he had a good rookie season, right?
All I'm saying, yeah, a good rookie season, and then what happened in the second season?
But if you had that, you got something to build on. If he's taking
what?
The good rookie season.
This is his 3rd season, right?
I know. What I'm saying is you've seen ability. So if he's lost some of that, you can find a way to get it back.
How?
And they haven't helped him with the stuff they put around.
We got to get the running game.
They were a better offense. They were a better offense as a whole.
Yeah, that shit was funny. And what's funny is I made this post on Instagram and tagged him, and he followed me. So maybe I'll have to get something going and be like, all right, Perk, let's hash this out, bro. Let me debate you. Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, so Texans, Ravens, potential Cooper Rush plays. We played him in 2004 against the Cowboys, and there's his spray chart. I mean, his stats, he was 32 of 55 for 354 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, minus 7.3 completions over expected. So you might see these numbers and be like, oh, Cooper Rush, tore us up. But no, they didn't. Like, that was the game plan. Like, our game plan was sit back in zone, force him to dink and dunk and make a mistake, which he did. And we won the game 34-10. So like, and they only scored 10 points, and F those stats. Like, I could see this similar approach being had if he's in the game, stop the run, force him to dink and dunk. And then, yeah, here's the video of DeMeco Ryans and Jeffrey Simmons after the game.
Keep doing your thing, bro. Love the way you work. Despite everything, keep going, man. That's real leadership, bro. All right? Keep it going, baby. Keep doing your thing, bro.
That's real leadership. Go to Texans. And then here's CJ Stroud on Woody Marks.
Yeah, he's super Atlanta. If you can like put somebody in a bucket of like what Atlanta looks like, I'll say it'd be Woody. That was the first thing, because I have a lot of friends from Georgia, like from the Atlanta area, and he's like super that way. But yeah, he's just quiet to himself, but plays really good ball. Yeah, he's super Atlanta.
And then here's DeMeco today on, I said defensive. I don't know. Offensive rookies.
Because of the trust that they've shown with the opportunities they've been given. Like, they give Higgs an opportunity to go get the football. He's done it several times, made a lot of big catches for us. We got to get him more, right? You see Woody and what he's done in the run game and passing game. He's earned the op to get more opportunities, right? And Tay, like, we know how tough it is to play left tackle in the league, especially as a young rookie coming in, starting at left tackle. He hasn't blinked. He understands. He takes ownership of his job. He takes his role serious, and he's working at it every single day out at practice, working on getting better, working on the small fundamental techniques of hand placement, right, footwork, hat placement, how he's finishing. He's there. I love the way they work, right? And Noel is another one. I go out to practice early. He's out there early, catching punts, catching kickoffs. Like, he's working at his craft, and nobody beats him in a meeting. He's always the first one in meetings, and he always works the right way. You can tell he's raised the right way, like, comes from a really good family, good background.
Play him at receiver.
Just has really good qualities about him that I love. So I'm excited when you draft guys and you're watching guys, you're watching their college tape, you see things that you like, but to see it come to life quickly here in the first month of the season is cool, and to see where they're.
We've also needed it desperately, so
we got some really good.
But that's good. That's good. I can't be complaining. Good progress. And this is what I was alluding to earlier. Stroud on Nick Caley so far.
He's done a good job of trying to listen to other guys, but also keep his core mentality and core plays. But this game's evolving. It's not, what it used to be, and it's not, what it was last year. You got to just find every, like Coach Day used to always say in college.
Yo, that's crazy. I mean, I like going back and listening. I just picked. I mean, I really think that like is some of the same shit that was going on with Bobby. Like, CJ, I don't know why they made this hire, dude. Like, Kaylee can be the guy because he can adapt, and it sounds like he's being forced to adapt by DeMeco. But I mean, you bring in a guy again. This is my offense. You fit to me, even though he says it. Like, I can't help but feel like he's not collaborating with him. Look, listen to this.
He's done a good job of trying to listen to other guys, but also keep his core.
A good job of trying to listen to other guys, but also keep his core. Which, okay, yes, you have your. I get it. You're not gonna. I don't know. I mean, I would let CJ bring in his offense. That's why you should have hired Chip. But still,
Mentality and core plays. But this game's evolving. It's not, what it used to be.
This game's evolving. It's not what it used to be. I want to run the shit I ran in college, which was cutting edge, not old school shit.
And it's not what it was last year. You got to just find like Coach Day used to always say in college, every year when we hit the off season for like self-scout, he would always say you have to become the new iPhone. Like every year you got to upgrade or you'll get caught up. So like iPhone, they come out with a new iPhone every year, so they don't get caught up from other brands. So I think that's the same thing. But it takes time. It's not just overnight. I think he's doing a good job of like listening to what I like, to what the team likes, and a lot.
It takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight. Okay, fine. He's doing a good job of listening.
A lot of our guys are young, so
there you go.
But it takes time. It's not just overnight. I think he's doing a good job of like listening to what I like, to what the team likes, and a lot of our guys are young, so a lot of the run and gun and like the fun stuff is like easy for us because we've done it before, but we're just trying to both get off, our mark.
And that's what I've been saying they need to run is basically run and gun, spread. It's easy for them. They know how to do it. They know it. But hey, you know what? You're good at this and you know this. And we said we're going to adapt to your personnel and your strength and your skill set. But we're going to make you do this. Like, what the like, what?
And, push towards being uncomfortable with being.
It sounds like he's struggling to be like, please, can we run this offense that I ran, that all these other guys ran? Like, it sounds like that's what it is.
Being uncomfortable with one another, but also trying to get some comfort plays in as well.
And right now it's masked by winning and the offense doing good. But as soon as things start going bad again, like, I'm going to come back to this and be like, what the hell? And this is going to flare up. Like, I think it's, maybe I'm overblowing it, but I mean, it's to an extent. Texans injury report: Nico Collins limited with the knee. Jalen Reed came off the. He's on the 21-day practice window. He was limited with the knee, so we could be getting him back. That's our safety to fill in with CJ GJ gone. Derek Stingley did not practice the oblique. Will Anderson Jr. was a rest. That was kind of unexpected. Harrison Bryant, he had a shoulder injury. He was limited, so that's promising. We talked about that earlier. Foley, Fadakasi, shoulder DNP. That could be big, but Tommy's stepping up in that role a little bit. And then Autry is off the PUP as well and had limited practice, so that's good to see too. Our D-line could be even better than what it was. And then, I think what I'll do is I'll make sure and do it. I will do another stream where we'll dive into the Ravens. That'll give us more time to see what's going on. And then we can go through all the stats and do that. It may not be at night, maybe during the day, but I will make sure it happens. It may be on Saturday, it may be Friday. I don't know. I will try my best. But we'll just finish by going through some of the stuff on the Texans Titans. I mean, basically we had a win probability the entire game of 50+%. And in the fourth quarter, it got up in the 90s and stayed there. A couple insights from the game through NFL Pro. Let's see. I think some of these were leading into the game. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll start from the top. Simmons on that sack of Stroud, 2.09 seconds, was the fastest sack lead wide over the past 2 seasons. Again, we talked about that was like a miscommunication due to getting to the line of scrimmage late. This is a crazy stat. The Texans 1-3 have allowed 51 points through 4 games, the fewest in franchise history. The 2025 Texans have joined the 1974 Cowboys, 12.5 points per game, 1-3 as the only team since 1940 to allow fewer than 13 points per game through 4 games and have a losing record. That is nuts. And let's see, Tony Pollard recorded 5 missed tackles for 20 missed tackle yards on his rushing attempts against the Texans, matching his season high in both categories. Pollard accounted for 64 of the Titans' total 134 yards on offense. The Titans called 16 design runs in the game, their fewest in any game this season. So we basically shut down the run and forced them to try and adapt. So that's crazy. And then we talked about the Woody Marks one. Cam Ward, he was pressured 14 times and sacked twice, faced pressure on 46.7% of his dropbacks against the Texans, a season high rate for the Texans and the second most pressures Ward has faced in the NFL so far. The Texans generate pressure on 37.5% of dropbacks when sending 4 or fewer rushers, the highest pressure rate for the team this season. Under pressure, Ward completed only 30% of his passes for 66 yards. Without pressure, he fared only marginally better, completing 43.8% attempts for 42 yards. So basically, their O-line was ass. Our D-line was great. So that was it on that part of looking at it. We'll get into the Ravens. I'll do a stream on it. But, it'll be better than 2. We'll have clarity on injuries by then. But we can do PFF real quick. Again, this is just a guide. It's not an end-all, be-all. But, essentially offense, Ed Ingram, we talked about, had a great game. Run block, pass block wasn't as good, but run block is good. According to his grades, Woody Marks graded great across the board. Nico Collins, great across the board, like always. Stroud, pretty good. Higgins, pretty good. Lakin, not bad. So, that was weird to me. The grade here for Lakin was not bad, and Scruggs was bad overall, but his pass block was good. So I don't know how that matches up, if that's a discrepancy from what we saw or not. Schultz, average, but terrible in pass block. That's what I talked about, tight ends, running backs. Nick Chubb, average, terrible in pass block, 6.8. Schultz was 21.7. So again, pass blocking, if we go by pass blocking, our lowest grades, Nick Chubb, 6.8, running back. Dalton Schultz, 21.7, tight end. Harrison Bryant, 39.8, tight end. Running backs and tight ends, they are the issue in pass blocking, not the offensive line. So that's pretty much it on that side. We'll do defense. I think I'm kind of hurrying up because I got to piss. Sorry, that was vulgar. I have to pee. I have to use the restroom. Let's see. Tennessee Titans. What's going on here? Why did it do that? I got to refresh this section here by team. And then we'll go to the Titans. Texans defense. Daniil Hunter, great game as always, especially in the pass rush. Sheldon Rankins, great game. MJ Stewart, our third highest graded player. Everyone's freaking about MJ Stewart. Oh, is he good enough just because he's not some big, sexy name? He played great across the board. Overall, run defense, tackling, coverage, and it checks out. Tim Settle did well. EJ Speed did well. Will Anderson did well, but his tackling wasn't great. You saw that in that sack. Couple areas, he's elite. A couple areas he can improve, though, is just slowing down. I feel like on that potential sack of Cam Ward with the big play where he just jumped too soon, he could have kept chasing him down. Togiai did well. Henry T did okay. Tackling, obviously, he was low, 39.3. Horton did good. Barnett, Aziz, all of a bunch of average. Petrie, Kamari, Stingley, they've been grading him bad this year, but he's been hurt. Christian Harris only played 4 snaps. So I think that pretty much covers all of it. And so, that's all I got. I've kind of been, it's been about an hour. It's been 2 hours. Yeah. So hopefully y'all enjoy, and I will try and hold my promise to do some kind of at least 30 minutes or whatever it is to go into the Ravens game. Be on the lookout for some articles. If you want some merch, check out the site. As always, appreciate you guys.